my friends, and welcome back to another video. The Rings of Power Season 2 may be far away, potentially midway through 2024, but there is still some time in between the seasons to discuss and speculate on what could happen in the next season. So in today's video, we will be discussing events and moments we could see in Season 2. The major events we will be discussing today are limited to mainly lore events and moments from the books such as the appendices and the Silmarillion. Also make sure to like and subscribe as it helps the channel a lot, but without further ado, let's get right into it. In at number 10 we have visiting Roon and the eastern and even southern unexplored parts of Middle-earth. During the final episode of the season, we learned that Nori and the stranger, who is also now a wizard, will be travelling down south and potentially east towards Roon or even Harad. This journey could lead to the introduction of new characters such as Khamûl, the Easterling King, who eventually becomes a Ringwraith, and we also learned that the two blue wizards did visit Roon before their disappearance, so there is a lot McPain could do there. Whether the stranger is the first blue wizard finding the second one in Roon, or is it Gandalf finding the other two blue wizards, we shall see. Personally, seeing Roon and the other unexplored areas is one of the most exciting and intriguing places the show can go around, utilizing characters like Khamûl, and even the aesthetic change with desert, sands and hot climates quite different from what we have seen visually from Middle-earth on screen so far. Next up in at number 9, we have the creation of the Doors of Durin. Alongside this event, the introduction of the dwarven character of Na'vi would also be monumental, as him and Celebrimbor both helped create the Doors of Durin around 1500 of the Second Age. Little Easter egg, in Season 1 in this scene here, Celebrimbor was meant to enter Khazad-dûm and mentioned how the door should be bigger / look better, but due to the reshoots because of Tom Budge, the original Celebrimbor, being replaced, this resulted in this whole scenario and plotline being cut. So maybe this is a hint of potential foreshadowing that we may have seen with the creation of the Doors of Durin. Next up in at number 8, we have the revelation of the true wizard identity of the stranger. From the season finale again, we learn that the stranger is a wizard, and which wizard he is will be the next stumbling block to pass. As though most of the evidence does point towards Gandalf, it is weird that they are waiting an extra 2 years for this seemingly obvious revelation. Maybe they could have just not decided yet and waited for fan feedback and reactions, and then the showrunners are going to decide who the stranger is going to be, or it is someone other than Gandalf. But his revelation will be interesting and will of course be controversial no matter which wizard it is. At number 7 we have Annatar creating Rings of Power. This one is more of a hope than a certainty, as we don't know yet whether we will get a full-on Annatar character in Season 2, but interlinked with that, seeing the creation of the dwarven and human rings alongside the One Ring itself is paramount, especially because the show is literally titled The Rings of Power. Whether Sauron in the form of Halbrand, Annatar or someone else can make it back to Eregion, trick Celebrimbor and cause the creation of all the Rings of Power, we'll have to wait and see, but it just makes no sense to not show it. The creation of all the different rings is one of the main things they do have access to, so it'd be really surprising if they did not end up using this. Nearly halfway there at number 6, we have the return of Celeborn. Celeborn was a notable elven character in the Second Age, and for those of you who don't know who he is, he's one of the main canon backstories is that he was a kinsman of Thingol, who was the ruler of Doriath in the First Age before it fell, and during the later periods of the First Age he met Galadriel, the main protagonist of the Rings of Power, and his name and status was even name dropped by Galadriel in episode 7, where she indicated that he is dead. But that might not be the case, even with the showrunners themselves signifying that he might not be dead but still alive somewhere. So seeing his return will be a major moment of the Second Age, and the answers of his whereabouts are also of interest. Let us know where you think Celeborn has been all this time in the comments below. Halfway there at number 5, we have the major battle we'll probably see in Season 2, the Battle of the Gwathlo, similar to that of the Pelennor Fields in The Lord of the Rings, where Sauron attacks the coastal cities up and down the river Gwathlo until there is one final stand after the fall of Eregion, until up the river Gwathlo comes a fleet of Numenorean ships which utterly routs and destroys Sauron's army, resulting in him to flee. The reason this is at number 5 on the list is because it is a major signpost in the chronology of the Second Age, as it's Sauron's first but not crucially only main defeat, and sets the path for the War of the Last Alliance. So it is an important moment that hopefully the show will do justice. This battle could be one of the most epic and coolest moments of the Second Age, so this moment must be up there. In at number 4 we have the usurping of the Numenorean crown by Pharazôn. At the end of season 1 we find out that Tar-Palantir, the old king, is dead. The now blinded Miriel next in line for the throne, as in season 1 she was ruling in a regency capacity. Of course, in the lore, Miriel is usurped by her first cousin Pharazôn and really doesn't even get a time to rule on her own, so it will be interesting to see how Amazon handles this transition of power. They could tweak it slightly and have both rule together under the main influence of Pharazôn, but the main thing is by him being in rule and control of the Numenorean kingdom, time will tell. Next up, in at number 3, we have the War of the Elves and Sauron. Showrunner Patrick McKay even confirmed in a recent interview that season 2 will have a 2-episode battle, and we know that the War of the Elves and Sauron will be an event touched upon and shown by the showrunners. The reason it has been placed so high up on the list is because not only is it an epic war, but a moment for the show to fully show its scale and use of budget through epic battles, elven armor, and exciting set pieces. This war was signified by Sauron as the leader of the armies of evil attacking the Free Peoples of the West after the forging of the 3 elven rings occurred and was kept in hiding from him. Of course, in the Rings of Power, 3 elven rings is forged first, so maybe after the 1 ring is forged, or the human rings, we shall see. But after these rings are forged, then the assault on Eregion begins. But the goal of Sauron again during this war is to find the location of all the rings of power so he could consolidate dominion over all races. One of the major results and consequences of the War of the Elves and Sauron is our next event in at number 2, which is the founding of Rivendell, or Imladris, which happened after the Battle of the Gwathlo, where the survivors and bannermen of Lindon, led by Elrond, who was sent by Gil-galad to support Eregion when they were under attack, settled in the beautiful vale which would eventually become what we know as Rivendell. It was made clear from episode 1 when the elven lady notified Elrond of the meeting being for elf lords only and being referred to herald Elrond alongside Gil-galad, providing wisdom and seeing potential in Elrond being a ruler, so his journey to having his own realm and area to rule could be intriguing. This moment also coincides with a council that happens soon after, including great elven leaders such as Gil-galad, Círdan, Galadriel, Celeborn, and resulted in Elrond receiving a ring of power, alongside Rivendell remaining the main elven outpost westwards, replacing Eregion. Personally, Rivendell is one of my most cherished places and regions in Tolkien's works, from when Frodo first arrived to the safe haven in the books, and then seeing this translated on screen in a breathtaking visual environment. So I just hope seeing this Rivendell in the show will also live up to that. Finally, in at number 1, we have the death of Celebrimbor alongside the fall of Eregion during the War of the Elves and Sauron. In the first wave of attacks, Sauron personally went after Celebrimbor, destroying most of Eregion, looking for the identity of the 3 elven rings, and this eventually leads to Celebrimbor's death, which some refer to as Celebanna, after his body is stripped, humiliated and placed on a spear, acting as if he is a banner waved by the Orc armies, a quite gruesome death to say the least. Hopefully we will get enough time to be with Celebrimbor before his death. We didn't spend too much time with him in season 1, and in order to make his death feel impactful and truly emotional for the audience, then we will have to have more screen time with him and even see how he gets manipulated by Anatar through the creation of all the rings of power. The reason this is placed at number 1 comes down to the shock or even saddening death we might see on screen, as Celebrimbor's demise is one of the most intriguing and tense moments, and seeing this flawed and confused character meeting an untimely death would be fascinating to see. That is all events and moments we should hopefully maybe see in season 2 of the Rings of Power. Let us know if we missed any in the comments below, or if you want a part 2. Make sure to like and subscribe, but as always, until the next video my friends, Goodbye.